Hi, scrappy friends. Welcome to another episode of For the Love of Homemade Kits. This is my last layout for the 6th kit. So this is layout number 4, but I think I did this one after I did my double page spread, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's actually number 5. So I actually got 5 layouts done with that kit. So that's pretty good. And I am using, am I using a sketch? No, I don't think I am. I think I winged this one. I think I just winged it. I was thinking about using a sketch for that. I've been using a lot of sketches lately, and there's no problem with that. I'm not really on, I'm on the Spiegel Moms Crafts Designs team, but that's pretty, Jody lets us do a lot of awesome stuff. So for the most part, we don't have too much that we have to go by. So that really helps, not having to be limited. Not that saying being on design teams are, because sometimes they let you do whatever anyway, but so now I'm working on what I want to do with my layers. As you can see, I put those other strips. I was wanting just the peaks of the flowers that are on that Scraptastic paper to poke out from behind my main photo cluster. And I'm just backing that photo with some printer paper. I've started doing that a little bit just to add some extra layers without having it be really thick or a lot of color. So because you can just take the paper and have a whole bunch of like 3 or 4 white pieces as your layers, so it adds a lot of dimension without being overly crazy or busy, which is helpful sometimes. So here's my photo. It's down. And as you can see, you can barely see those other papers sticking out, but I really like that. That paper that I had in the kit from the Hello Love collection, which is really pretty. It has the teal and pink type hearts with different like textures and stuff in it. So it's pretty busy, and there is a decent amount of color in my photo anyway. It was taken on a sunny day. So for this kit, we had wanted to have hand stitching in it, and which was actually my idea because I have done some layouts recently or in the summertime that had some hand stitching in it, and I thought that it would be good since I came up with the idea to do a layout with it. I have not been overly inspired to do a lot of hand stitching because it is a ton of work. But if you do it correctly, it looks amazing. And I mean, if you work it out right, you can multitask and do something else while you're doing it. Me, however, when I'm doing a layout, I try not to multitask, and I try not to do like 2 layouts at a time because I I don't know, it just messes with my brain. It's the type A personality that says you do one thing and you finish it and then you work on the next thing. And I think it kind of stops my train of thought, which is why I don't do stuff like that very often. So when I do hand stitching, I just want to start the layout and finish it. I really have a hard time when I have to leave layout overnight, and I will, but I just don't like doing it because the chances of me going back to it and remembering that flow that I had or the direction in which I was wanting to take the layout usually gets compromised. So, and since hand stitching does take a long time, but all I did this time was just did a easy stitch back and forth around that main paper from the We Are Memory. why do I want to say it's We Are Memory Keepers? It's not. It's crepe paper. Hello, love. There we go. Hannah, you know the product, right? I hate that when you know the product and it just doesn't come out of your mouth properly. I am going to use this zebra because it is a layout about the zoo. There are not zebras at the zoo here where we go, but is that really a major thing? No. So, and like I said, since it's a layout about the zoo, I am going to add the zoo animals, which is why the giraffe is also on there. I do not believe there's giraffes at our zoo either. There's a lot of North American animals, which is very understandable because we are in North America, right? I'm thinking about adding some of these rub-ons from Amy Tan. There are some circles and I do it and I don't like it. The minute I put it down and it's not rubbing on all the way because these are older, they're, from a couple of lines ago and they got traveled. And so really the quality of them is not that great just because they've been in really hot temperatures and on a boat. And even though they were packed and sealed, but still that kind of stuff affects, I find that rub-ons can be very tricky because some packages work out really great and some just don't. Like the Heidi Swap ones are really crappy. The Amy Tan ones tend to not be as bad, but these ones, I can tell they've been compromised. And there is some hand brush lettering, which is another thing that was a part of our recipe. If you want to see what the recipe is, I will make sure that in the description box below, I have links to my blog post, which I give a description of what the recipe is for making these kits, because that's what we do. So if you haven't seen the series before, we have a recipe that is based off of an inspiration piece. We've used papers as inspiration piece, but this kit is based off of the Amy Tan Better Together collection pack. So I'm thinking I'm going to add that wood piece from Pink Fresh Studio because it would be a fun back, like something to layer with. And so I have to move it. I added glue to it before I put it down, which I shouldn't have. I know better than that, but do I do it? No. And this is why, because I find that if you know you're going to stick things down, you kind of, one, get better about sticking it down or just going with it. How it turns out, it turns out. I don't have to be overly perfect most of the time, but So and part of the reason why I added that was because I wanted to see if I could try to cover up that rub on, and that's what I'm doing. So I go into my stash and I get all the Amy Tan stuff that I have. Like I have a pack of Amy Tan like cut aparts from 6x6 pad. I have die cuts from different collections just all together in a little plastic folder, and I like those for just mixing collections, because especially when you get near the end of the pack, you have like 5 or 6 things and you don't really need to. It's nice to have just the Amy Tan stuff together, because in this case I'm looking for stuff that looks similar, and a lot of her lines, especially Amy Tan, tend to have similar looks to them, unlike some of the other ones like Dear Lizzie. Not every single one of her lines works together, but Amy Tan's generally do. Sometimes the colors are a little bit different. So now I'm building the title and I'm thinking, well, let's put it in the white space in between, and I wanted to kind of keep it separate, like one word on one side, just so that the balance and the flow doesn't get disrupted, because I kind of wish that maybe I had added that wood piece up at the top, or not that wood piece, the cork piece that says good times, that's underneath the zebra. But part of the reason why I put that there was because I felt like the zebra was just, I mean, I know he's on the paper and so he's not completely floating, but I felt like maybe he was still kind of floating and he needed a place, something to sit on. And so I added it to the bottom, but I kind of feel like it makes the bottom a little bottom heavy. But that's okay. It's one of those things where it didn't bother me enough that I needed to take it apart. But I have done that, and especially a lot lately, where if I just don't care for it, I will take it up. I'll wait, or I won't wait, or I'll wait 10 minutes. But I decided to write the title because I did zoo map hunters, because my kids, one of their favorite things to do is to hold the maps. So we have to get 3 maps each time we go. Everybody has to have their own map, and everybody wants to look at the map and they want to figure out where we are and figure out where we're going to go next. So that is what we're doing there with my brother, because we went to the zoo when my brother came up to visit us when we first moved here, and or first got into our house, I should say. And me and the kids and him and his wife, we all went to the zoo together. So I have pictures of us together at the zoo. And this was just a really fun photo. And I really liked that it was allowed me to tell a story that I really wanted to tell, because every time we go to the zoo, my kids have to hold the map and they all like to figure out where we are. And it's that age of discovery and learning and navigating, and they just really love it. So it's just really fun when I get to document those kinds of things that are just part of what we do when we go, and we go to the zoo quite a bit. So in these close-ups, you can see a lot of the hand stitching that I did, and I did some X's and stuff just to make it really nice and fun. So I hope you guys check out Christina's and Sarah's and Felicia's videos, and they'll be in the description box below. I hope you have a great week. Bye.